Okay, welcome everyone to the June 17th, 2025 joint meeting of the Executive Committee and the Compensation Subcommittee of the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees. The meeting is being held in person with committee members participating remotely. At this time, Board Secretary Michelle Carreri will conduct a roll call attendance to determine if a quorum is present. Please clearly respond present via WebEx or present in person when your name is called.
Margot Cook,
Present via WebEx.
Armin Sabatoni,
Present via WebEx.
Neil Kerwin,
Present via WebEx.
Ravi Luna,
Present via WebEx.
Courtney Nicolato, Vahid Anjazieri, Tom Ryan,
Present via WebEx.
Michael Fascitelli, Mark Parlane.
Present via WebEx.
We have a quorum.
Okay, reminder to members, please identify yourself whenever you comment, make a motion or second a motion. All voting members should clearly state yes, no, or abstain on all action items. Committee members using WebEx are required to keep their cameras on. I would like to acknowledge that URI occupies the traditional stomping ground of the Narragansett Nation and the Niantic people. Are there any proposed amendments to the published agenda? Okay, hearing none. The first order of business is approval of the minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the September 18, 2024 meeting?
Ravi Luna, so moved.
Tom Ryan, second.
Thank you. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. The next item on the agenda is number 2, discussion items. And we're going to have a longer discussion about this in executive session, but this first item is related to the planning for 2025-2026 goals and assessment as defined in the URI Board of Trustees policy entitled Policy on Presidential Performance Review. We enclosed it with the materials, but essentially today we're going to talk about the annual review that covers the previous year, which the president has completed and has been circulated, and we'll discuss. That needs to be done by June 30th. And as we did last year, we'll discuss the president's performance in executive session with a recommendation on changes to the president's compensation, which we'll also discuss. And then we'll bring that to the full board meeting coming up next week, where we'll have a similar discussion with the board, and we'll bring our recommendations to the board at that time. And as we did last year, the president will submit his goals for the 2025-2026 year in September, and we'll have a similar process in September. Any questions on that? Okay.
Before you were on, I guess Michelle's going to circulate that assessment to the board, so the rest of the board, so they can fill it out before the board meeting, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. So with that, let's go to Becky has a couple of items. Item B is Compass Comp update, and then we'll keep going from there. So welcome, Becky.
Thank you, Margot. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is going to be a very brief update on Compass Comp. I did want to share that the university has hired a director of compensation. Her name is Sheila Felice, and she came to us most recently as vice president of HR from Colette Travel. She was previously VP of HR, actually, Tom, at Navigant Credit Union. And so she's got tremendous acumen. And so we had initially anticipated rolling some portions of the Compass Comp initiative out around July 1 with a new fiscal year. I do anticipate that being delayed at the very least until probably about 6 months into her tenure, where she can fully review the study and be able to lead us in action steps there. So there's not a lot to report other than we very likely will see minimal impact in FY '26 and see more of a robust plan to move us forward in FY '27. And we will have plenty of conversations with our bargaining units within this fiscal year. So that was the only update there. I don't know if there are any questions.
Okay. Thanks, Becky.
Yep.
Next item is report from URI on the Joint Alternate Retirement Plan Committee, and I think that's you, Becky.
Yep. So we've been meeting every couple of months and reviewing the investments for the university. Abby, Alyssa are also part of those meetings along with the representatives, typically legal, CHRO, and CFO type of roles from Rick and CCRI. We did approve the replacement of one of the institutional index funds with an institutional index plus. The only difference there was we met an asset minimum in order to go to the different fund level. So we did also approve replacement for another mid-cap growth fund. The performance, I think, had been down for about 10 quarters. And so I think the team unanimously approved a new investment there. The only other thing that I'll mention at the beginning of the year, we did have some security concerns. And so we discussed with TIAA issues that involve several employees, particularly at the University of Rhode Island, but also at Rhode Island College, and new security measures that TIAA is putting in place as a result. TIAA did confirm that they did not compromise the information of these individuals. Basically, what it meant was bad actors had created accounts in their names and initiated contributions that the individuals were unaware of. And so that seems to have been fully straightened out. And we are looking for closer partnership, I think, with TIAA. The process to resolution, I will say, was not as clear or perhaps proactive on their end as we would like. And so that was our last discussion, and I think we're in a better place with that. So I don't know, Alyssa, if there's anything, but I think that's probably about it.
I agree.
Who's in this pension? What employees are in this pension?
That would be, so that's the 457B plan. So that could involve,
Oh.
yeah.
So it's equivalent to like a 401?
Yeah, so there's several plans, the 403B and 457B. There's a higher income threshold to be eligible to contribute to the 457B. So anybody who's eligible can contribute.
Okay, we're
Yeah.
not the fiduciaries of this pension. This is run by the state?
That's right.
Okay, that's why I didn't recall it at first. Okay,
Yep,
Becky,
sure.
it's Neil. Can you tell me a little more about TIAA's response and what you found wanting?
Yeah, I think initially it was just very difficult for them to take some ownership, and I was asking for timelines. Okay, we've had employees that have had thousands of dollars deducted. They did not initiate those contributions. I want to guarantee that that's going to be back in their account by a certain time frame. They were very slow the first time this happened. I think the second incident was actually, unfortunately, the fact that our employees did not take action that they were advised to take. And so it was essentially a delayed deferral. And so it seemed like a second incident. It was really part of the first incident. And that was resolved more quickly. But what initially, I just felt like I was asking TIAA, pressing them, let's get this wrapped up. I need a timeline. When are the folks on our team going to see that money back? Because this is totally inappropriate to have such a delay for them. So I do think we got past that though with the next incident. So
Thank you.
yep.
We do periodic reviews of them. I think there was one a couple of years ago. I don't know when the next one is, Becky.
I'm not aware, but I'll find that out. Yep.
I could talk to you separately about them. We sold our company to them. I have unfortunate insight.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear anything you can share, Margot. I think Alyssa and I both were struggling a little bit with the interactions and just the lack of proactive partnership. So,
Not surprised.
yep.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Becky?
That's all.
Okay, the next section is going to be an executive session. May I have a motion that the compensation subcommittee convene into executive session for discussion relating to the job performance of President Parlange pursuant to RIGL 42465A1, including the annual self-assessment and performance review and annual performance-based incentive. President Parlange was notified on June 6th that this discussion will take place in executive session. He will be excused from a portion of this discussion.
So moved, Neil Kerwin.
Second.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. I also have a second motion, that the executive committee convene into executive session to discuss with President Parlange his annual self-assessment, performance review, and goals. Looks like the same thing. Pursuant to RAGL 42465A1 and RAGL 42465A2 for discussion regarding collective bargaining with all bargaining units, including those listed on the agenda.
That's so moved, Armin.
Second,
Robbie
Neil
Luna,
Kerwin.
second.
Okay, Armin and Robbie. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I'd ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. The committee will now convene into executive session for the reasons specified, expected to last about 45 minutes, after which the committees will reconvene into open session. The live stream will be paused during the executive session and will resume once the executive session has ended and the committees reconvene into open session. For those participating via WebEx, please confirm by saying yes that no other person is present or able to hear the discussion at the remote location.
Yes.
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 If you do not automatically move into the breakout session, join the session when prompted on your computer screen by clicking on the Join Now button. Attendees not participating in the executive session will be moved to a waiting room. Okay, looks like we've got everybody. We're good to go?
Yes.
Okay. First order of business in open session is a motion to seal the executive session minutes. May I have a motion?
So moved, Almond.
Second, Robbie Luna.
Thank you. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Next item is action items. May I have a motion to recommend approval of amendments to the executive committee charter and calendar as presented in the enclosure? And are there any questions on this? I know we sent them around. Alyssa, do you want to spend a minute on it, or was it pretty self-evident?
I think
Okay.
it's pretty self-explanatory. If there are no questions, I'm happy to talk about it if you'd prefer.
Okay. So I'd ask for a motion to recommend the approval of amendments to the executive committee charter and calendar.
So
So
moved.
moved, Neil Kerwin.
Second, Almond.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, now this is also a compensation subcommittee charter and calendar approval. So may I have a motion to recommend approval of amendments to the compensation subcommittee charter and calendar as presented in the enclosure?
Almond, so moved.
Robbie Luna, so moved.
Any
Second, Robbie
discussion?
Luna.
There being no discussion, all in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, this is approval for primary university liaisons and university liaisons to committees to reflect the title change for the executive committee and the compensation subcommittee. So may I have a motion to recommend approval of amendments to the June 2023, is that right? 2023? Yeah, listing of appointed primary university liaisons and university liaisons to committees as presented in the enclosure.
Almond, so moved.
So moved.
Okay,
Second, Robbie Luna.
thanks, Robbie. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, this is for the this is compensation. So we discussed we discussed in executive session a target incentive bonus for the president that is in accordance with our contract language on 0 to 25% with 15% as the expectation. And we came to a recommendation. Do I reveal that recommendation, Alyssa, or am I taking that to the board?
No, at this point, it's just the motion language you have here, which is to recommend to you as the board chair an annual performance-based incentive as discussed in executive session.
That's it.
Okay,
Period.
let me read that. To recommend to the board chair an annual performance-based incentive as discussed in executive session.
So moved.
Second, Neil Kerwin.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, I'd ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, this is ratification of what we just discussed around the collective bargaining agreements. So may I have a motion that the executive committee recommend that the board ratify the tentative collective bargaining agreement between the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees and the PSA NEA URI Professional Staff Association for a 2-year contract extension, July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027, of the existing collective bargaining agreement with a 3.25% across the board salary increase each year.
Almond, so moved.
Second, Neil Kerwin.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, this is a motion that the executive committee recommends that the board ratify the tentative collective bargaining agreement between the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees and the part-time faculty commencing July 1, 2025 and ending on June 30, 2028, with annual across-the-board salary increases of 3.25% starting July 1, 2025, 3.25% starting July 1, 2026, and 3.5% starting July 1, 2027.
So moved.
Move,
Vahid.
Neil Kerwin.
Second, Robbie Luna.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, this is, the Executive Committee recommends that the board ratify the tentative collective bargaining agreement between the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees and the Professional Technical Administration Association, PTAA, for a 2-year contract extension, July 1, 2025 through June 30, 2027, of the existing collective bargaining agreement with a 3.25% across-the-board salary increase each year.
And so moved.
Second, Neil Kerwin.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay. We're coming around. The Executive Committee recommends that the board ratify a 3-year tentative collective bargaining agreement between the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees and the American Association of University Professors, AAUP, commencing July 1, 2025 and ending June 30, 2028, with annual across-the-board salary increases of 3.5% starting July 1, 2025, 3.5% starting July 1, 2026, and 4% starting July 1, 2027.
And
So
so
moved.
moved.
Second, Neil
Second, Robbie
Kerwin.
Luna.
Thank you. Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, I think this is the last one. The Executive Committee recommends that the board ratify a 3-year tentative collective bargaining agreement between the University of Rhode Island Board of Trustees and the Graduate Assistants, GAU, slash NEARI, commencing September 1, 2025, with annual across-the-board salary increases of 3.5% starting September 1, 2025, 3% starting September 1, 2026, and 3% starting September 1, 2027.
So moved, Neil Kerwin.
And second.
Any discussion? There being no discussion, I ask for a voice vote. All in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, congratulations. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved, Neil
moved.
Kerwin.
Second, Robbie Luna.
Summarily second.
Any discussion on the motion? There being no discussion, as for a voice vote, all in favor, please say yes.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. The next URI Board of Trustees joint meeting of the Executive Committee and the Compensation Subcommittee will be September 16, 2025. Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
Neil and Vahid, go to bed.
Thank you.
Thank you.